Good morning, Rams. It's hard to believe that it was way back on March 16th, 2020, that Ram reporters left the high school armed with portable cameras and microphones, ready to produce a remote Ram Report morning show. Our goal was to put on a show that first week, and sure enough, the Ram Report aired that very Friday. The students were justifiably proud of their work, but what they didn't know, what they couldn't know, was how long the Ram Report would remain a remotely produced show. After all, we originally expected to be out for just a few weeks, all that would be needed to flatten the curve. Remember that? Well, weeks turned into months, and here we are over a year later, still working mostly remotely. But the students of the Honors Broadcasting class here at HHS have managed to turn out a Ram Report morning show every single week of the school year, often turning around a show in just a few days. And as their teacher, I am immensely proud of all of them. It has been a tough time to be an educator, but I have been blessed to work with some outstanding students, particularly in this class, who have taught me so much about persevering, enduring, and indeed excelling during a crisis. I would particularly like to thank some standout Ram reporters who really stepped up, both on camera and behind the scenes, to pull off this show again and again. From last year, the show would not have been possible without the energy and enthusiasm of Cecilia Tabor, Brandon Sagbo, Tyler Shamper, Isabella Chico, and the dynamic duo of Justin Sabagal and Spencer Cohen. For this school year, we couldn't have done it without Dylan Burke, Parker Bennick, Laura Pavlovich, Matthew Salter, Alex Fayes, Josh Carmona, and the one and only Alejandro Mendoza. Speaking of Alejandro Mendoza, I now have the pleasure of turning it over to him as he hosts the 35th and final Ram Report of the school year. This has been Mr. Koontz, wishing everyone a Ramtastic summer break.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Ram Report Morning Show. This time, we're bringing you the final episode of the year. I'm your host, Alejandro Mendoza, as always, bringing you the Hightstown Scoop. This Wednesday, some of our seniors were recognized at the Hightstown Annual Senior Awards Night. Here's Tilak Patel with more on the story.
This week was a ride with the Senior Awards and the National Honor Society both being delayed from their scheduled times. With the rain delaying the Senior Awards onto the NHS meeting date and punchback forcing the National Honor Society to be held Tuesday next week. But after that, this Wednesday, we saw students gathering in the main gym and win awards they didn't even know they were winning to add the element of surprise. Next Tuesday, we hope that everything goes well for NHS. Speaking of HHS events, we wish our seniors a happy prom. I'm Tilak Patel for Ram Report. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tilak, and thank you to all of the incredibly generous donors who granted the awards. On this week's Ram Report Sports Update, we will be covering the girls' softball team as they continue their state championship run. Here's Matthew Salter with the story.
Unfinished business. That is what the Montgomery softball team printed on their shirts for their game against our Hightstown girls softball team. The only thing that was finished, though, was Montgomery's season. This game was a rematch of the 2019 playoffs when Hightstown's Abby Bell hit a walk-off homer in the bottom of the 7th inning to send them to the state championship. Clearly, the t-shirts backfired and motivated our Rams to dominate in a 6-1 victory. Hightstown grabbed the lead in the 2nd inning and never gave it up. They made their own statement with a 4-run 7th inning, giving them a 6-0 lead and putting the nail in the coffin. Now Montgomery can add this year's date to their unfinished business t-shirts as well. The team's next opponent this past Wednesday was Hunterdon Central. This game was the semifinals of the state playoffs, so a win would have sent them to the finals. Unfortunately, the game did not go our way, but in true Rams fashion, they held their heads up high. Congratulations to our girls softball team on yet another successful season and incredible playoff run. I'm Matthew Salter with the Ram Report, signing off for the last time. Back to you.
Thank you, Matt, and congratulations to our softball team on what a great season they had. We look forward to seeing what they can do next year. After weeks of violence and taking place between Israel and Palestine, a new government is looking to take power in Israel and seek change. Here's Laura Pavlovic with more information.
An 8-party coalition aimed at unseating current Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to be sworn in on Sunday, following weeks of unrest and conflict between Israel and Palestine. The Knesset Arrangements Committee, which is the legislative branch of the Israeli government, voted 17-0 on Wednesday to commence a vote of confidence in the new government, which is expected to pass. Despite this, Mr. Netanyahu and his associates have embarked on a last-minute effort to pressure lawmakers and voters to abandon the new coalition. The coalition is made up of left-wing, right-wing, centrist, and Arab parties in an unusual combination of groups, all of which came together with the ultimate goal of ousting Netanyahu, who is the longest-serving Israeli prime minister. If the plan to oust him is successful, Naftali Bennett, a former defense minister and high-tech millionaire, will serve as prime minister until 2023, with Yair Lapid, former minister of finance, taking over afterwards. I'm Laura Pavlovic for the RAM Report. Back to you.
Thank you, Laura. Hopefully, this change in government will lead to less foreign conflict. And once again, Megan Sharp is back with another RAM Report moment of Zen. Let's check it out.
To the Stress Less with Art segment. The purpose of this is to provide a fun way for kids to de-stress using art. Why don't you step into my studio?
For today's art project, we'll be making dot art. This is abstract art that you can hang on your wall horizontally or vertically. This isn't a project to overthink, it's meant to be relaxing and fun. If you want to find out more, go to the Instagram account hhs.stresslesswithart. Hope you have a stress-free day.
Thank you, Megan. It's been a pleasure to host your segments this year. He's back with his final review. This time, Carmona takes a look back on another year of the RAM Report Morning Show. Take it away, Carmona.
Hey Rams, and welcome to a special finale of Carmona's Cut. The past 8 months, the RAM Report has been delivering weekly news and entertainment. So for the final Carmona's Cut segment, I'm taking a look back on a number of highlights from this season of the RAM Report. While this first entry isn't a single segment, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Pizza Review saga. Spanning a number of weeks and featuring a variety of local restaurants, the Pizza Review series brought the RAM Report's hard-hitting journalism to the dinner table. One of my personal favorites, as a movie buff of course, was the Wild West Showcase, where we took a look at the Western films produced in the Honors Narrative Filmmaking course. These films, The Mountain Men, Rescued, and The Benevolence Dilemma, were all highly entertaining flicks. An all-time classic segment that will go down in history is of course the Turkey Parade. Showcasing all of the turkeys sent in for our Thanksgiving contest, the Turkey Parade was truly a celebration of our Rams' creativity. You may remember that many months ago we covered Among Us, the smash hit video game that took the internet by storm. Even though Among Us doesn't get that much play anymore, the segment was a timely piece of reporting. Although it's somewhat hard to believe now that this really did happen, the terrifying storm of the Capitol building was truly a turning point in our political landscape. Of course, our skilled reporters covered this chaos too. And the list wouldn't be complete without talking about everyone's favorite recurring segment, the COVID Update. Out of the 35 RAM Report shows this year, a segment on the pandemic has been run in around 20 of them. And finally, a shout out to fan favorite host Alejandro Mendoza, whose flowing locks and great charisma always stood out. Of course, the RAM Report has been host to many segments this year, all thanks to our talented and dedicated team of reporters, writers, and editors. I'm Josh Carmona with the RAM Report. Back to you.
Thanks, Josh, for that wonderful retrospective. Well, that concludes this week's episode of the RAM Report, and with it, the season as well. It has been an honor to provide you all with the best news that Hightstown has to offer every single week of the school year. As always, stay safe, stay focused, and have a great weekend. I'm Alejandro Mendoza with the Ram Report signing off. Have a Ram-tastic summer break, and we'll see you next year.